We talked about one woman's downward spiral into the throes of an eating disorder. But what about people who are just trying to lose a little weight, or those who are obsessed with healthy eating? Can even that become a problem? The answer is yes, and it is called orthorexia. While it's not recognized as an official eating disorder, many are sounding the alarm now, including experts like registered dietitian Heather Caplan. Heather says she knows the dangers of disordered eating because she lived it. Watch.
My experience with orthorexia was probably at its peak in my freshman year of college. I lost a lot of weight. I was cold all the time. I had a hard time concentrating. I had a hard time remembering things. I lost my period before I went to college and wouldn't get it back for a couple years after that. I went through a phase where I was calorie counting really intensely. So I would sometimes journal. I would always be tallying things in my head. I was looking for the lower calorie, the lower fat, sometimes the lower carb, whatever it might have been, whatever I had convinced myself of that day that was good for me. When I finished a meal, I was always still hungry because I was so malnourished by that point and I had restricted for so long that I was always thinking about the next meal. Like, okay, I've finished breakfast, what do I think I can have for lunch? Even while you're eating a meal, it's like still something you're thinking about, like how many bites should I have? How many calories has this been? I was always praised or complimented. I was always told, oh, you eat so healthy, or, you know, what you're doing seems so good. I should try to eat like you do. I treated exercise differently throughout my phases with orthorexia. So when it was at the peak, I exercised only in a gym because I wanted to be on a machine that told me exactly how many calories I was burning. To me, that was very satisfying. I thought that all these things I was doing were healthy for me. In my mind, they were. And when you reach a point like that, to me, it was like, I'm clearly not healthy anymore, so there's something I need to do to turn this around.
Heather Caplan, good morning to you. Thank you for being here.
Yeah.
So that's so interesting because, you know, it seems like it's like the gateway to anorexia or something else, this orthorexia.
It certainly could be. I definitely started changing my behaviors when I decided I wanted to lose a little bit of weight or that I should lose a little bit of weight. And again, it's very celebrated. Once you lose a little bit of weight, you get complimented on. People ask what you're doing.
Exactly.
How can we copy what you're doing? And I was studying nutrition at the time. So people often thought what I was doing was really healthy. And in my mind, it seemed very healthy. And it started off seemingly innocent. I thought I'll just eat a little bit healthier at restaurants and I'll cut out sugars and then I'll cut out something else and then I'll cut out something else. And I'll eat fewer calories and fewer calories and fewer calories. And as I lost more and more weight and I felt my body changing and I had signs that to me were red flags, I realized this has gone a little bit too far.
So how do you know, right? Because like in your experience, how did you know? I think right now, it's all the craze, you know, it's all the rage to go vegan or get rid of processed food or I don't know, there's so many, paleo, you name it, of like these special ways of eating. So how did you know when, okay, this is something more than that?
I had a really clear sign from my body and that I didn't have a period for 6 years. So that I lost my period when I was 18, right before I went to college, and that was when I had started making very small changes. And then I remember weighing myself a few times my freshman year and feeling like, oh, it just keeps going down, but I am not doing anything to try to make it go down.
So you don't have to be skin and bones to lose your period or to be in an unhealthy place.
No, definitely not. And you don't have to be skin and bones to have an eating disorder. As you said earlier, they don't discriminate, and there are different body types that present with eating disorders. For me, I just felt like what I was doing was healthy. I convinced myself of that. If someone had asked me, I would have said, this is what's healthy. I'm learning it in my nutrition classes. And my behaviors were exacerbated, but also justified in my mind by what I was studying.
But that was probably very triggering for you to spend your day learning about different diets and different foods. I mean, you immersed yourself in this world that was not healthy for you.
Exactly. I was thinking about food all the time, literally, and I was studying it and I was taking exams about it, and it felt like there was no escape, but at the time I didn't want it. I thought I was very passionate about nutrition because I was just interested in nutrition, not because I was constantly thinking about food because I wasn't eating.
Can I tell you that, like, most of the women I know think about food all the time. Is it, right? Think about food. Maybe it's men too, but I know, like, I'm thinking about it right now. Like, the whole day is about what I can have at the next meal.
Yeah.
But, like, so how do you know it's just normal, like, food tastes so good, it feels so good, and what's like, you got a problem?
For me, it was a constant monologue in my head about how many calories I had eaten that day, what I could eat at the next meal that was healthy and was also safe. I got into really strict food routines where I had the same thing for breakfast for probably a couple of years. Because to me, it was very safe. I felt like if I woke up and started with this breakfast that was exactly this many calories, I could go, the rest of my day would be a little bit freer. I had a lot of anxiety around traveling and not knowing what I was going to eat. I had anxiety about going to restaurants. I would go, I wouldn't try to close myself off because I also was keeping up an air that everything was fine and I was very healthy. So when situations start to create that much anxiety for you and you feel like you're constantly thinking about food, you're constantly hungry. I wasn't sleeping very well. I didn't have a period. So for women, that's a very clear sign that your body's malnourished or overstressed, usually a little bit of both. So just kind of keeping those things in mind.
So how, if you're used to eating that rigidly and beating yourself up like that and thinking about it all the time, how did you get yourself out of it? How did you start eating more normally?
It took a long time. Recovery is a long road and it's not linear. I started by reducing the amount I was food journaling and also I stopped weighing myself. So I got to a point where I was weighing myself every day and it really determined how I felt about myself for the day, whether the day was going to be good or bad, if the number was higher or lower. So I decided to stop weighing myself and then I stopped food journaling and that helped me stop counting calories because I didn't have the constant feedback or the constant track of what I was eating. So when clients come to me now, those are some of the things we start with. If I'm weighing myself every day, sometimes multiple times a day, or I'm tracking everything using this app or this food journal, and it just gives me comfort, we start to try to break away from that very slowly because...
And the thing is, when you look at these food journals, of people who are suffering with an eating disorder, they're shocking in how little is on there.
Right.
We're going to pick it up there right after the break. Don't go away. We're back now with Heather Caplan talking about something called orthorexia, defined as an obsession with healthy eating, but it's not yet clinically classified as an official disorder. So an obsession with anything, even if it's a healthy thing, can become unhealthy, like eating well or exercising. So how do you know? Because I think a lot of us see friends or people worry about their teenage daughters or even sons. I'm a vegan now, or like I'm going to go vegan, or I'm going to go no processed, or I'm going to do no fried, whatever it is that sounds healthy.
So if it's something like vegan or vegetarianism, you just always want to ask about the reason or the motivation. And if it comes down to, I think this will help me lose weight, or I think it's just a safer way to eat because I eliminate all other food groups, that's where I would question it. If it's something where they are ethically opposed to animal products or they're environmentally concerned, you can have that conversation about, okay, well, if this feels like something that's right for you, then I want to honor that. But when I have clients who come to me and they might be in stages of eating disorder recovery and they've decided to go vegan as part of that stage or vegetarian as part of that stage, I have a lot of questions about whether or not this feels too restrictive. For some people, it feels safe because it still gives them justification in not eating a lot of variety of food or not eating certain foods.
Well, that's the thing, because any addict, right, and in a way, this is similar to addiction, right, will lie, right, to hold on to the thing that they want to have more of, whether it's food or alcohol or drugs or whatever. And so how do you know? Like, I'm sure there are a lot of orthorexics out there or anorexics out there who would say, it's my ethical principles.
I would say with any type of eating, any eating pattern, when it starts to become disordered, you want to look for health markers. So for me, again, I didn't have a period for 6 years. So how is that normal and healthy for my body, right? I wasn't sleeping very well. I was getting calf cramps in the middle of the night, like things that should have been really big red flags to me. I also lost weight pretty rapidly. So when you're looking for signs like that, if you're talking to someone, either as a nutrition counselor, like in the work that I do, or just a friend and you're concerned about them, you kind of want to check in. Do you still feel healthy? Does your body feel good for you? How are your energy levels? You don't have to ask your friends that, but it can be something if you're interested and concerned. Well,
that's, I mean, and you're doing well now. Now you've gone on to not only help yourself, but help others.
Yeah.
But that's one of the questions, is if you see somebody in your life who you think may have an eating disorder, and obviously sometimes it is clear and sometimes it's not, how do you handle that? Joining us now to discuss that here in the studio is Claire Misko, the CEO of the National Eating Disorders Association, and Ramani Durvasula, a psychologist and the author of You Are Why You Eat, which is so provocative. I like the title, Ramani. Okay, so can I just ask you about that? If you see somebody, because have you ever seen that person in your life who's like extremely skinny, and you can see the person's bones, and you want to ask, but then you also feel like this is none of my business? You're like, what do you think, Ramani? What do you do?
Everything's your business if you love someone, frankly.
you step in there. You step in there. You want to ask them a question that's not going to leave them feeling defensive. Instead of saying, I think something's wrong with you, you just simply ask them, are you doing okay? Tell me what's going on in your life. By getting that story, you might actually find the back door in to help get them to help. But when, again, you've been talking a lot about, you're talking about it like an addiction or obsession. That's when a person really denies and deflects and defends. To avoid that, just reach out to them and say, are you okay? We don't do that enough with each other. So this is a great place to start.
Claire, what about, you heard Heather talk about, and I mean, anybody who suffers from this talks about how, like, the compliments are good, and then even the concern is good, right? You were just saying that. So should you not be complimenting somebody's weight loss? Is that something we need to worry about?
Yes, it is something that we need to be worried about. We don't know what someone is going through when they've experienced weight loss. And as Heather and McCall have pointed out, this complimenting of weight loss is so validated. It's so common in our culture, and yet for many people, in fact, most people that we hear from through the National Eating Disorders Association who've struggled with an eating disorder, they tell the same story, that in the beginning, the weight loss was something that was complimented.
So we have a lot to talk about because, I mean, I worry about this as a mom, and I worry about it with respect to my friends, too, about how to handle food. And even, what sort of diet that's out there right now being sold to you could be a gateway to danger for you. We'll be right back with our experts.
Hello, Today fans. Thanks for checking out our YouTube channel. Subscribe by clicking that button down there and click on any of the videos over here to watch the latest interviews, show highlights, and digital exclusives.